Week 7 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few centers you should add on the waiver wire this week. The first guy is Cody Zeller of the Charlotte Hornets. Zeller, he came back last week, and now he's starting to round out into shape for the Hornets and fantasy owners who want to go out there and get him in Zeller. So Zeller, he's only 26% owned, and his percentage has jumped up already 15% after a few big games for him. In Zeller, in his return, January 27, 10 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists and a steal. Then the 29, 12 points, 6 rebounds, an assist, steal, a block, 54% from the field. And then versus Milwaukee Bucks in a shocking win on the 30th, 15 rebounds, 7 points, 7 assists. And he was 33% from the field and only 50% from the line. But Cody Zeller, he's been playing good so far, and his averages since he returned off the injured list, 8.2 points a game, 8.8 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 75% from the foul line, and 45% from the field. So on the season, he's ranked 159, but the last few weeks, he's the 100th ranked player. So Zeller, he's playing well. He's getting back into shape, like I said, and right now he's playing in the last 3 games, 30 minutes, 26, and then 34 minutes. So they like what he's doing in Charlotte, and some fantasy owners already ran out there to the wire to pick him up, and he's still available in 74% of fantasy leagues. So I would go out there and get Cody Zeller if you need a big man at the center position, because I think he could help you out at rebounding, and he's a decent passer too from his position. And with Bismack Biyombo getting out of the rotation, it'll be more playing time for Zeller here. The next center I will look to add on the wire this week's Hassan Whiteside of the Sacramento Kings. So Whiteside, surprisingly, he's back in the rotation now for Sacramento, and he's starting to play. And on the season, he's ranked 288. But over the last few weeks now, his ranking's 188 in that time span, and he's putting up decent numbers. Is Whiteside. January 27th, the Kings, they returned to play after a couple games were postponed. He had 9.6 rebounds, 33% from the foul line, 57% from the field. Then January 29th versus Toronto, 16 points, 9 boards, an assist, a steal, a block. And then versus Miami, January 30th, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, an assist, and he shot 100% from the field. So right now, Whiteside, he's playing 15 to 20 minutes since he returned. You know, he could block shots. You know, he could get rebounds. He's not going to be a great scorer of the basketball, but he's going to help in field goal percentage as well. So Whiteside, he's available in 42% of fantasy leagues. And right now, I think the Kings are playing him to get his trade value up, and hopefully they get something for him at the deadline. The next center I would look to add on waivers this week's JaMychal Green of the Denver Nuggets. Green, a few weeks ago, he was on the ad list, but he was struggling. But now he's back and he's playing good again, is Green. In the last few weeks, in the last couple weeks, he's ranked 118, and on the season, he's ranked 156, so he's playing better. On the season, his average is 10 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, 1 assist a game, 2.1 threes, 82% from the foul line, and 45% from the field. But over the last few weeks now, 11 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.5 threes, 47% from the field, 88% from the line, and an assist and a steal and a half a game. So Green, he's available in 83% of fantasy leagues, and he's a player that can hit the 3 ball, get a few rebounds, and right now for this Denver Nugget team, he's playing about 20-25 minutes a game, and he could have some decent stat lines, I think, and help your fantasy team. So if you need a big that's going to help you in rebounding and 3-point shooting, I think JaMychal Green, he's the guy to go get there at that position. The next center you should look to add on waivers this week's Naz Reid of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Reid, he was on the list the last few weeks, but he's still available in 62% of fantasy leagues. And Reid, he's been playing well since Karl-Anthony Towns has been out, and there's still no timetable for his return. But I'm thinking Anthony Towns, he'll be back later in the week. But on the season, Reid, 12 points a game, 4 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 76% from the foul line, 53% from the field. But the last few weeks, he's really stepped it up. 15 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals. The only down thing, 42% from the field On the season, he's ranked number 94, but over the last 2 weeks span, he's ranked number 24. So Naz Reid, he's playing well, but the only thing holding him back right now is if Karl Anthony Towns comes back any day now. And Reid, he was out the last game with the wrist sprain, but he's questionable to play in the Timberwolves' next game here on Sunday night, so we'll see if he plays. Well, like I said, he's out there in 42% of fantasy leagues, and he's definitely worth an add. The fifth and final center to add on waivers this week is Keem Burke of the Orlando Magic. Burch, he's been playing pretty good this season. He's been up and down at some parts, but on the year, he's ranked number 145, averaging 7 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 80% from the foul line, 50% from the field. And in the last few weeks, he's ranked 107, averaging 7 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.3 blocks, 75% from the foul line, 68% from the field, which is big. And the last few games, he's playing about 25 minutes a game. Versus Charlotte on the 25th, he had 8 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Then versus Sacramento, he had a big game, 8 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, a block. And then versus the Clippers on the 29th, he had a mediocre game, though, 7 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. So Burke, he's available in 91% of fantasy leagues, and he's playing a good bench role for this Magic team, and I think he could help fantasy owners in a few categories, especially rebounding, field goal percentage, and maybe get a block or two a game. So that's a few centers I will look to add here in week 7 of the fantasy basketball season.